Colored pencils are all about the layers and color mixing within our layers. Very, very, very rarely will you ever just color something with one colored pencil from your set. We have lots of color mixing to do. Alright, I'm going to give you guys a color mixing and layering demo. So all I want for you guys to do right now is just watch. Okay? So, eyes on the screen. Alright, with colored pencils, we have our layers. And then we have our final layer, which is called burnishing. I'll write that here for you. It's like furnishing, but with a B, burnish. Okay, so if I were trying to make a red-orange, like I saw some really nice poppies yesterday, because everything's blooming right now. So I'm going to try and make a poppy red-orange. And I know that that is mostly red with a little bit of orange. So I'm going to start with our kind of rendering pencil strokes, which are just like graphite pencils, those kind of like spirally, curly, overlapping, rendering, I don't know what, just rendering period. I was looking for another word to add in there, but we don't need it. Okay, so mostly red with a little bit of orange. So you can see right now that this is pretty solid, but there's still some white speckles in it, which we want at this point. So I'm just pressing rather light with my colored pencil, and I'm going to add in an orange layer. Again, just kind of light pressure at this point. We want it to be white and speckly, which I'm sure you never thought you would hear me say, but we do. So I have my red and I have my orange in there, and it's a little bit more neutral than what I have. So what could I add to it to dull it down? Alana? Louder? Gray or black. Good. To do gray, I would have to add a little bit of black, because we don't have a gray colored pencil. A little bit of black. Again, nice and light. Your black colored pencil is a really dark value, so you have to be just really light with this pencil pressure. And then a little bit of white. Again, still white, still speckly. So those are my color mixing layers. My last layer that I'm going to do is my burnishing layer. And what I'm doing with this is I am doing like medium pressure. You're not pressing hard with this, but you'll notice that the white speckles will go away. And your colors will just start to kind of shine and look saturated with all of those layers underneath. Like that. So that's how we mix. We do nice and light layers. We mix all of our colors in there like we would do with paint in a palette, and then we burnish on top. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of scales up here. And I want for you to pick one color to use. I think for mine I'm going to stick with my red. And we are going to start in the center with our hue. That's just our color, so I'm using red here. And we're just going to do a value scale. So you're not filling this whole box, but just so you have spots to do it, I'm going to do my rendering, coloring with my red. And this box here is just going to be only red, so I'm going to do just like a nice base layer. And then either turn or sharpen my pencil so I have more of a point, and do my burnishing layer right on top of that. So I am kind of more up and down with my pencil. So I am coloring more with the point and more medium pressure. So that is just our regular red. So you should have your hue in your center box right now. Alright, we are going to do tints in this direction to the left and shades in this direction to the right. So our first tint, we're going to do a layer of red. Nice and light, should be speckly. And this just needs to be slightly lighter than regular red. So I'm going to take my white and do a light layer on top of it. Should still be speckly at this point. If you are on your phone, put your phone in your backpack and follow along. And then I'm going to take my red and burnish on top of those two layers, the red and the white. Mine, if we're being honest, does not look that much lighter than my original hue. I probably needed to add more white in it, but that's okay. This is practice. Raise your hand if yours looks a step lighter. Most of you? Okay, good job. You did better than I did. Alright, our next one is going to be the same thing. So a little bit of red, a little bit less than the first time on that base layer. Nice and see-through. More white this time, so I'm just going to kind of do more overlapping, just a little bit more pressure, still speckly. So it looks like a nice pink. So a little bit of red, more white, and then, yep, some of you guessed it, a final red layer on top. This one should be lighter pressure. It's easy to go like really dark, like that. I don't know if you guys can see that, but keep it nice and light. It should be a step lighter than your last one. And then for our last one, we're just going to do 2 layers. So we're going to do a really light red and burnish with white on top. Tint. Yeah, I'll write that on mine too. Bless you. Alright, and then we're going to do the opposite direction with a shade. So we're using black with this. So, same thing. We're going to do red layer, light black in between, kind of like a sandwich. Red, light layer of black, burnish with red. Should be a step darker, that's the goal. So that's my first shade. My second shade, I'm going to do red with a heavier black layer in between. And then burnish with red on top. Bless you. And then my last box is going to be red, just an even heavier layer of black burnish with white. I'll show you what happens if we burnish with black. Any guesses what happens if we burnish with our black colored pencil? It just looks black, right? Hello. Yes. Okay. Right. All right. Red, extra black in the middle. Not quite burnishing, because if we burnish, it will just look black. And that goes for your dark valued pencils, like your dark or your blue violet and your violet and your brown can also overpower if you burnish with them. So just be cognizant of that. All right, and then red on top. Should be like red, red, red. All right, tints and shades and tones with our colored pencils.